All right. Hey, good morning, folks. We are back from a day off of labor, and we're getting a little late started today because I couldn't get my camera working. I was finally able to get it up and running, but there's something. I'm using chroma cam, and there's something goofy about it. So there's no background today. So you get a rare glimpse at the Kearney Estates behind you. There's my fireplace that keeps me toasty warm, and my big TV that hangs on the wall, and here's Doodle that hangs out on my shoulder in the background that you never ever see because he's always hidden by the Ravnica background. So, yeah, New World Order, different day today. What's up, Doodles? So we're going to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon to get notifications when we're live in the future. We're up and running. Sound was good. Let me go ahead and do my social updates here real fast. I'll go through a quick, origin story, and let's see. Not switch. There's that, and then I'll hit copy paste while I go through the intro here real quick. So my name's Phil Kearney. I create role-playing games. I illustrate them. I publish online. I've been running D&D, D&D and other role-playing games since 1987. I've been using Eberron as my home world campaign in Dungeons and Dragons and Cypher system, and I don't think I've used it anywhere else. Anyway, I've been creating content for the DMsGuild 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons since 2017, and this is the first adventure that I've created for Eberron in 5th edition to publish on the DMsGuild. So this is a converging of many. Let's see, we'll put that there. That looks good. I'm on the X Twitter platform at Phil Kearney if you want to follow and catch vibes there. Like, subscribe, bell. Hey, we got new subscribers. Thanks a lot, guys. The entire playlist for the 282 episodes. Thank you, timer. The 282 episodes that we've already done, the full creation list is here. Here's a slew of books that I've created on the DMsGuild already. You can check all that stuff out. This is an adventure for 45 characters, level 7 to 8. This is the book cover. It'll look about like that big. On the DMsGuild front row once it gets published, so it looks like a dragon's face, I think. But then you zoom in, all these different elements are things that are inside the adventure. So neat. We're making the Tree of Woe battle map. So let's see. We are here right now. We have the playmat space. We're gonna push that up to 100%. That tree all but disappears inside of that. So I've got a conflict here in my head that's waging right now. We got the Tree of Woe token that we created. The tree is a 30-foot tree, so theoretically it should also have a 30-foot reach. So anywhere you appear on the map, you're going to be within striking distance. The characters are going to start off here, and if the tree is successful, you'll be able to grapple them and keep them in place. There's undead that are pinned on the branches that can pull themselves free and then attack characters as well. So this is a fun little. Just a random map, like an optional encounter that characters can encounter in the midst of the Mabaran Manifest Zone. Or if you're using the Druid plot line, the Gatekeepers will use a tree stride ritual, and this is the only tree that's left in the Manifest Zone. So this is the tree that you arrive at, and it's Poltergeist, the first Poltergeist movie type of evil. It'll just snatch you up and kill you. It's basically a mutated massive roper with a 30-foot reach. So, but this is the token that we created, and I'm not 100% on it because it has like an up and down, and when I'm doing battle maps, I don't like that for my, like, it's such a large thing and it's stationary, so it feels like the token isn't the right solution. What I want to do is an overhead, because I've got an overhead map of different trees that we're already doing. Man, see the debate that I'm having here. I'm not sure if I want to have the token like the mapping format of it being overhead, because that's what I've been working on last session, just building out these branches, and I'm really happy with this as art. But I think to indicate that this is an enemy, it needs to actually have the token here to indicate that it's not terrain, but instead a creature to fight. And that's the language of tokens. shoot. So, okay, so maybe what I need to do, the problems we have, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to select inverse, and then I'm going to select modify contract by 1 pixel, so it pulls inside the outside a little bit, and I'm just gonna do that for now. Let's just do a shadow. Maybe the shadow here. The other problem that we're having. Oh, what was that? I didn't know I had that in a trash layer. Well, that's super useful. I'm like, what? That's not trash. All right, we'll figure that out. The words I'm attempting to use here is background. And let's see if I can... That's better, because it's got that dark footprint underneath it that we need for shadow recognition, right? I think it still isn't jumping out at us, is it? I'm having a severe contrast issue. And this tree is just melts into the terrain for me. Even though this is all black and white in here, this whatever color that is, this off red, is the same value and shade as this grid over here is. Like that and that are the same to me. So I can't even see it here. I can see it. I can see the black outline. Let's just go full dark. That stands out. You seeing the conflict I'm having? Okay, well, we were talking about Vulpina being rampant in this area, so maybe the solution is terrain tokens. So let's grab some hazard tokens. We're gonna grab some emerald caps, Lotharia, and ferric ivy as usual. So let's duplicate those and bring them into the Tree of Woe map. Blessed. And now let's go to the Lotharia. Let's go here. We're defining stuff. It's weird not having my monsters. My Ravnica Mandala behind me. It just feels weird. I feel so exposed. You can see doodles. This is just not normals for me. I'll go to here, and we're going to let's see, tree shadow, and then we're going to take all this stuff and we're just going to lob it into the trash. Get out of here, trash can. And then let's see. There, let's see, tree shadow, ferric, Lotharia, there we go. we're going to merge that group and merge that group and merge that group. I'm thinking things through here. The shadow is good. Yeah, that shadow is good because for the black and white. And then we're going to do more spot. Duplicate that layer. Let's go to here. Transform. Free transform, rotate 180. One, two, three, four, five, six. Okay. That feels good. Here. There. Copy paste. Free transform. Bum 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 bum. It's good here. Let's flip vertical like that. And then bring it to here where there's nothing. Good. So those are the spot and then the partials. Yeah, the partials go wherever there's blank spots here. Copy paste, we'll put one here. And free transform like that. Flip vertical like that. Part, then full. Transform, flip horizontal, and then let's go like that. Notice filling in gaps here. Go to full. Art. Duplicate that layer. Free transform, flip horizontal. How's that jive? That jive's pretty good. Let's go back to here. That feels good. There is good. Here, I guess that's technically how I should be doing this. Glumpy eye. Let's see. Let's just copy paste. Looks like the partial is going to be doing most of the lifting today. Flip vertical. Pre-transform. Spin. Hey, Rel, how you doing? How you feeling these days, my man? Here, that, and this free transform, bump, 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 here like that. And then free transform, bump, 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 like that. Here, nah. Yeah. That's a good spot for this. Yeah, like that. And free transform. Rotator potato. Can I do that? Does that make sense? Yeah, it looks pretty good. So we're using the Lotharia here to. Shit, there's supposed to be yellow caps. Or mushroom caps. Fuck all. Oy. No, Lotharia makes sense. Yeah, actually Lotharia makes a lot of sense. Okay, so we'll be there like that, and then we'll go tree shadow here. And then let's go back to, we do need to fetch some Oh yeah, I did get animal caps. Good. Let's go back to monsters. And let's go grab us some fresh dead, long dead. Let's see. Art, creatures and characters, creatures and NPCs. That's Karen, Emerald Claw, Red Wolf Mercenary. Tree of Woe. And Nope. The drowned assassin's my favorite of all the undead that we created here for sure. Let's see, Fresh Dead. Should duplicate that group. Tree of Woe. No. Nah. Brr. I think I want to redesign that weapon. They fashioned what I should do is so the thing is that these undead, these fresh dead here, if you hit them with a melee weapon, they cause a burst of Vulpina around in the space they occupy, and they can also like throw up by exploding themselves in a direction to lay down a line of Vulpina. That of course it sickens you. So they have a reach weapon. Here's like from Oriental Adventures, the Man Catcher, quote unquote, that can snag an opponent from afar, hold them at bay, as well as deal damage if you want to deal damage. These would be damaging types, but the point is that they can catch and then with grappling drag an opponent to another location. It basically gives you grapple with reach, which is super useful because grappling reduces an opponent's movement to 0, and you can move them while you do so. And with reach, you aren't within range of being attacked, while granting advantage to your allies to hit whatever is caught. So the Man Catcher, or it doesn't have another name other than that I'm aware of. It used to be a non-lethal weapon that could basically be like as easy to attack with as a spear, but the end result is that you have effectively shackled somebody. So they're good law enforcement weapons. So a mercenary troop that's there for security, with the guise of detaining and pushing non-military away from a location. These are decent tools to have available. I think I want to redesign them though, but having the outside edge of it be sharp with a blade as a glaive makes sense, and then it's just got this little connecting arm that scissors shut. I need to get rid of the blade tip here that's on that. So I don't think I actually want to use the thing is that there's a bunch of red wolves that got caught in the Tree of Woe, and thus they were killed horribly. So currently they're hanging from the branches from the tree. Merge down. So your initial visit to the area is gross. What the fuck are those? And that's exactly the initial response that we want. So there's multiple places that we can drop these things. Like you have some speared here, and then like here, and then we can move the entire assembly over. Like to here if we wanted. And so the team appears somewhere in the vicinity of this tree. So I should actually space them out. No, yeah, you know what? Honestly, putting this in the center of the map is the right way to do. Okay, so when the Tree Stride spell works, you step out of the tree trunk. So the characters are going to initially be inside of this inner ring here within its space, within the 20-foot range. And so yeah, having the undead evenly spaced around them is actually a good idea. So we'll put another one down here. Basically, they get caught up in the branches and they're stuck on them, so they wriggle themselves free and peel themselves off the branches and then attack the team. And they when you hit them, they explode and launch all this Atharia everywhere, and all that's left is its skeleton. So it goes from being one of these zombie creatures that if you hit them with a piercing or a slashing weapon, they burst, and now they're skeletons instead of zombies. So they have less hit points. There you go. Hey, what's up? Yeah, it's Bane Catcher. That's right. I don't think there's a more formal name than that, but it's a pretty cool weapon. I endorse its use. But it's a great law enforcement tool for, you know, people that want to catch people like that. Let's just put that guy back there. That's fine. So those will be the starting points. And of course, these undead are completely immune to the effect of the Atharia poisoning. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to drop in. So that's the shadow of it. I think we're going to go ahead and call this Long Dead. Let's go back to the tree shadow. Let's find our original token that we had done. Yeah, let's grab up some of that. Tree shadow here. I had a slow start this morning because my camera's being all weird. I probably have to restart my computer, but I didn't want to. I didn't want to. I don't wanna. Blur and simple. Let's go with this here in the core. Right now, I'm just kind of messing around. I'm not 100% on how I want the visual language of this to be at this point. I want to keep the strong black shadow to make it, for the mechanics of it being easily, like its hitbox is easily identified this way, right? You can tell what it's got going on. which is why we limited Lotharia to the square box that it actually occupies, so you can see the space that it defines. We're going to toss in water hazards and poison the ferric ivy in clumps around here, so it's difficult for the team to get away. So they come in, this is where they start at, and I'm going to try to get them to stay here for 2 or 3 rounds before they either beat this thing up or run away. So right now I'm just kind of smudging this stuff in. Just mostly right now, before I start bothering with any kind of detailed texture, I want to make sure that the contrast is jiving for me. Once every quarter, I go downtown in Seattle to attend live events at my place of work, and that day was yesterday. So I am here now, back in the mix. It's Thursday, so that means I'll be back on this evening doing more Spelljammer cartography. We built the Concealing Clouds in our last session, so I think we're going to be resolving little 10 by 10 miniature maps for the fleets, for each of the fleets to sit on, or the squadrons in the fleet. So this Saturday I'm going to set up more invites for playtesting, and tomorrow is Friday, so I'll be back here in the morning doing this again. But at lunchtime tomorrow, hey, what's up? Shaduka! Would you ever do cartography for third-party content? Yeah, sure, why not? I started off as a freelance artist, so I'm always willing to consider working on other projects. Saturday is my open workbench, so I do commissions, private projects, or whatever I feel the most compelled to work on that day. But you can check my various art streams. I've done a few different commission projects for book covers and character art on Saturdays, but yeah, I would definitely consider doing cartography. These things obviously take a lot of time for me to produce. That makes them prohibitively expensive. The reason I got started in making my own books in the first place is because it was difficult to find indie publishers that are willing to pay, hundreds of dollars for dozens of hours of work. So it's I started making my own content because I couldn't find anyone to pay me the rate that I wanted. So I figured the only way I'll be able to pay myself the rate that I wanted is if I make things that use my art that will ultimately pay me enough to justify the expenses and time spent doing the art. Now, keep in mind, I am an artist, so I am going to art no matter what. I've just found a way to justify myself in creating money with it so it becomes productive beyond the emotional fulfillment that I receive for actually performing the task. I don't use Instagram, so you can join my server if you want through my Patreon. It's free to access. It's just the permanent link is on the about page of my Patreon. Otherwise, you can just email me. The links to stuff are in the about page of my YouTube channel. I don't go out. I don't actively look to for gigs. I don't look for artwork gigs at this point in my life. So can occasionally be compelled to work on projects, but I'm not particularly interested in like call for artists or anything like that. If there's something specific somebody wants me specifically to make, I am open to that conversation. But I never respond to open calls for artists and stuff like that. And anything I do is a personal request because they specifically want me on board and are willing to negotiate with me directly about rates to make it worth my time, with the knowledge that I'm going to stream the entire process and basically talk about your product the entire fucking time I do it, which is awesome. I don't know why I cussed when I said that. It's really fun. It's one of the reasons why I like streaming so much when I'm producing things is that basically I get to talk about the thing forever. So that's starting to feel pretty good. That's a decent little footprint. I'm liking this. So yeah, drop me a line. I sound standoffish, but I kind of have to be because I have to. My time, it really is anyone's most valuable commodity. So I have to like be very upfront with like a lot of caveats and provision stuff. It's like there's a decent chance if someone wants to recruit me on doing something, there's a decent chance that I'm going to bounce off of it, which sounds really like standoffish and uninviting, and it kind of is. Like, that's kind of the point. But having said that, I have a Patreon tier. It's the $200 tier on my Patreon, and anyone that signs up for that for a month, I will do a full page landscape environment painting, Bob Ross style. So don't expect like a lot of like it's not for like portraits or like combat scenes or book cover work. It's strictly environmental, like forests, like, you know, mountains, rivers, nature scenery, as an illustration. I need to start posting artwork that I do on my Patreon. I think that maybe that'll be a weekend project today, this weekend. I like that. I like how it's bleeding out and fading into the black. In the outer area is where we need more definition, more contrast, so it stands out against the more prevalent grit that's showing up. In the meantime, we can afford to have more detail and texture in this interior space. This is going along nicely. I think I want to duplicate this, stay like that. This goes here. There we go. Now I got a little bit of line language poking through. Been rewatching Battlestar Galactica 2004. Goddamn Boomer. That kid, I swear, that Boomer kid just can't stop fucking everything up. If you've seen Battlestar Galactica 2004, you know what I mean. If you haven't seen that, it's a great remake of the Battlestar TV show. I highly recommend it. Really, really good. This is turning out. Oh, God, this feels so good. There we go. Nope, that's not how I want to do that. I think I want to let this sit here like this, and then I can feel that I want to do another layer of lighting over this. I'm gonna have to be really careful with that because if I push up the brightness too far at any point, it's gonna start blending into the contrast on the ground as well. So that can be the whole point was to make sure that this thing stood out. So I have to be careful about killing that vibe. But I definitely want a deadly maw here in the center. Oh. It's like in Poltergeist, the Tree of Woe, swallowing kids. Nom 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 nom. Let's go like this. Smudge that in. Alright, I'm going to do a new layer here. Start adding some little texture bits here. See, I'm not sure if I like this language or not, so I'm just going to mess around with it for a minute or two. Birch has this this striped striation that goes along its limbs and trunk, but that's not the vibe that I want here. That just immediately misread on me. Let's go into here and maybe do like this. Now we can pull and smudge like that. So when an adventurer does this creator, this is it's an optional encounter inside the manifest zone. The manifest zone, for those that don't know, the manifest zone is there's a thick mist that's like basically like heavy fog, fills the manifest zone. This is intentional by malicious design to prevent light from entering the manifest zone. So adding heavy fog prevents any direct sunlight from entering the area. Direct sunlight will destroy almost anything in the manifest zone, plant life and stuff. So the rotting, necrotic results in this thick fog haze that just hangs in about 30-40 feet off the ground, and then disperses upward. So like if you sent a familiar or you yourself decide to fly above, all you'll see is basically like a sea of gritty fog over swamp. And it's high enough, the fog reaches high enough that it covers any buildings, but if you gain elevation, you can see that there's 3 different points vaguely without any specific details, so that you can spend your spell slot or your familiar time to at least give you a sense of direction without providing any specific details. Like you might see movement and stuff throughout the manifest zone when you have that elevation, but by the time you get into it and like you investigate it closer, like there might not be anything there, or it could be like a gazebo encounter, or it could be this encounter. So all these random optional encounters are there to add, basically to add challenges and stretch time spent inside the adventure itself. Like if you're making it part of an ongoing campaign and you want to lean into some of the things that are happening here to set up your higher level your higher level storylines, once they move past this into double digits, then you can pad out that experience point gain and that time spent by adding all these little optional encounters in. So your team may never encounter this if your DM doesn't think that you need to have this since it's a purely optional encounter. You decide whether it's relevant or not. They're just kind of fucking around in the mists and things like slow down for a moment. Having this thing show up on the horizon, you only have about 40 feet. So like by the time you get here, you see the tree, but it's stationary, so it can't close with you. So you choose whether or not you want to approach and engage it, but there's nothing specifically here that is inviting about it. Like nothing here is inviting. All this stuff sucks. So like you don't want to get here. So its best use is if you choose to introduce this adventure to your team with one of the alternate plot hooks. There's a default plot hook that you're deputized to basically help keep the peace in all these unregistered farming communities that have been cropping up for like mercenaries and refugees to start producing something, do something productive. Go farm, create food for us, sell it in the market, earn a place. So the government, the Karnath government is generally turning a blind eye to unregistered communities, especially if they're cropping up in potentially dangerous locations like the Carnwood. It is known to be haunted, which is a great cover story for the necromancers to be working inside here, which is probably why the place was set up here in the first place, because of plausible deniability and gaslighting and deflective techniques used to blame whoever it is that thinks that they found something weird happening in the area. Oh, that's just the haunted Eidolon of the Carnwood. You shouldn't be in there. It's dangerous. Right? There's your disclaimer right there. And any military presence in the area, we're dealing with a threat that we think we don't want to cause an alarm. We're just trying to deal with a potential threat in the region. Oof, 753. Okay. Dismiss. But so that's the default plot hook, to be a deputy checking out complaints from people, and then you step into the situation not knowing anything, and you're figuring everything out about what's going on while you're engaging with it. But there's 5 alternate plot hooks, and we'll walk you through them when I'm ready to start walking through them with you guys. But one of them is you are recruited by the gatekeeper druids, who are charged with tracking and healing or resolving different manifest zones like this that crop up across the world to either destroy, contain, or nourish their presence. So the necromancers are trying to nourish the presence of this Mabar manifest zone that leads to the plane of undead and darkness, but it's being created unnaturally. So the gatekeeper druids want to shut it down. So they send your team in. The way they send your team in is with a ritual casting of the tree stride spell, or transport via tree, and so transport via plants. Thank you. And so the way that spell works is that you basically walk into the trunk of a tree, and then you're teleported out of another tree. The manifest zone, as we've discussed extensively, destroys all plant life, except for this fucker. The Tree of Woe is instead becomes a possessed evil tree, and it can continue to flourish, though mutated by the necrotic powers of the manifest zone. So the druids don't know this. They just know that they're picking up the sense of a tree. It's in the manifest zone. Something feels bad. Obviously, that's the place to send them. So when you send your characters in, they're going to they're going to end up somewhere in one of these. Hold on, let me put the grid back down. They're going to end up in one of these inner squares here. Around like these four spaces is occupied by trunk. This outer ring is occupied by undead. So the team appears, inside of this inner track. This 20 by 20, this 20 by 20 space here is where your characters appear. So if you have 4 characters, one could be here, another one here, another. You'll just basically 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Roll a d12, here being 1, wrapping around to 12 being here. When your characters arrive, you basically roll a d12 and then space out the character like as a starting point. Like we start here, put a character here, and then here, and then here, and then here. So they appear around the tree, and then these undead attack them. They appear in Lotharia, so immediately, the first thing that the characters do inside the adventure is make a Constitution saving throw or get sickened, and they can't take any action. And then we're going to build water hazards around. We're going to use those water hazard tokens we created to drop in around the tree to slow the team's escape from the area, while these undead drop off of the tree branches and start to attack them and chase after them and spew more Lotharia on them. So to keep them in the area, the team's goal is just to get the fuck away from this. And as soon as they can just leave the entire map behind and continue further into the manifest zone. They get a tracking stone basically that will heat up in the direction that they're supposed to go. And by the time they get to the nexus, the center of the manifest zone, the rock is so hot they want to throw it out of their hand. And they should throw it at the nexus because it'll turn into a gate seal, which is basically a 2-ton, 10 by 10 block of stone that basically gets dropped as an anchor point and just destroys the manifest zone and neutralizes it. It's in the 3rd edition books. It's called a gate seal. So we weaponize it by putting in a little rock as a grenade, and you throw it at the manifest zone, and when it hits, it expands like Ant-Man style and seals the gate and shuts it down, which causes in the final act for the Nexus crystal that was being formed, that cocoon, to shatter and to create a Mesoloth, Yugoloth daemon, a Mesoloth daemon out of it that'll attack the team. And if it can kill the team, then it will be able to escape. The seal will destroy the manifest zone. That's gone. But the Mesoloth can at least attempt to escape, to wreak havoc across the world since it's stuck there. Try to find another manifest zone to escape back to Mabar through. But if the team kills it, then the artifact, the Eye of Mabar, that generates the ritual that did all of this, it becomes dormant, and the team can take it, and they can take it back to the druids to destroy it, or if they have enough radiant damage, they can destroy it themselves. But their primary objective was to shut down the manifest zone. Secondary goal, kill anyone that was doing it. So killing the necromancers is good, but you don't have to kill the mercenary red wolves. They're just hired help. And then your third goal, and then part of that is the artifact. So the team could choose to take the artifact back with them, or they could just destroy it. If they think they can destroy it themselves, do it here. But they also have a sending stone that they can squawk into to get teleported back out again with another tree stride spell. It's just they'll have to leave the manifest zone, go to a tree in the forest, turn on the sending stone, and then the tree will activate and they can walk through it. So anyway, that's it. It's 7:59. I gotta bail. I'm going to be back in about. I'll be back at 1 o'clock today. That'll be in 5 hours from now. No, actually, sorry. No, it's Thursday. I thought it was Wednesday. It's Thursday. I'll be back tonight in about 11 hours. We'll be doing cartography with Spelljammer. We're building a fleet battle, and so we're going to work on the battle maps for the fleets, for the squadrons in the fleet, and then this weekend I'll start setting up playtesting for both Spelljammer and the Ravnica Rebel Belt martial powers playtesting for level 5 and 6 martial characters. More about that later. So I'm out of here. I gotta bounce. Later, guys.